A section on prohibited times. The following are the prohibited times, the times commanded not to be prayed at, in which all obsolete voluntary salah are forbidden. From dawn until the sun has risen to the height of a spear. From Asr to Maghrib, when the sun is at its zenith, until it descends, and Allah knows best. And it's permissible for him to do the following in the forbidden time. He prays a qada of a mandatory prayer, makes up the salah which he has missed. Prayer which have a reason, like sunnah after performing wudu, 2 rak'ah when entering the masjid, 2 rak'ah after circulating around the Kaaba, the salah of kusuf and istisqa or istikhara. The difference between the mandatory salah and the voluntary salah. 1. The mandatory, it became mandatory in the heavens on the night of Mi'raj. Voluntary, like the rest of the acts of worship in Islam. 2. It's prohibited to cut off the prayer without an excuse. For the voluntary, it's not prohibited to cut off the prayer without an excuse. 3. For the mandatory, the one who does not pray it is a sinner. Voluntary, the one who doesn't pray it is not a sinner. 4. For the mandatory, it is a finite number. Voluntary, it doesn't have a specific number. 5 and 6, for the mandatory, it's mandatory to be prayed in congregation, and it is a prayer in the masjid. For the voluntary, praying at home is better, except for that which has been excluded. 7. It is not permissible to pray it upon an animal, car, train, and plane, without a dire need. It is for the voluntary, it's permissible to pray it upon an animal, cars, train, planes, etc., without a dire need. 8. For the mandatory, each one has a specific time. For the voluntary, some has specific time, some do not have a specific time. 9. It's an absolute condition for it that you face the Qibla. Voluntary, it's not a condition for it to face the Qibla in case of traveling. And number 10, it's permissible to change from mandatory prayer to general voluntary prayer, but vice versa is not permissible.